Right. There is a red-lidded Tupperware container full of brownies on my kitchen counter. My kids have just come home from their Saturday night visit with their dad. They come screaming in, throwing their backpacks on the floor as they race for the stairs like always, barely letting me graze the tops of their curly heads with a kiss. My ex-husband strolls in behind them and drops the brownies on the counter. "For the boys," he says. Then he heads for the front door. "For the boys?" I'm following him and screaming at him in my head. That's all you have to say, is that these are for the boys? When I go back into the kitchen and see the brownies on the counter, it's like a punch to the stomach, and I know what I have to do. "So, you finally want to talk about the brownies." This is my therapist, Margarita Koutsis. Picture a well-put-together 70-ish woman with a thick Greek accent. That might sound slightly Russian while I tell this story. So forgive me. I don't want to talk about the brownies, but I think I need to talk about the brownies. "Okay, tell me about the maker of these brownies." I tell her how I found out that he was seeing Alicia, how she's 12 years younger than me, how she's a former model. I tell her how pretty she is and how surprised I was to find out that she was in his life, because I've always known her peripherally for years, and I thought of her as like a little kid. I tell her after I found out that he was seeing her, which is its own tearful, dramatic conversation. We had a conversation during which I had extracted a promise from him that if he moved forward with her, if he decided to move that biatch in, that he would do me the basic courtesy of letting me know first. But my intuition has been telling me that she's living there now. And these brownies are undeniable proof of that fact. I hate these brownies. The thing is that everyone knows that my younger son has a sweet tooth and he loves, loves, loves brownies. And my ex, he has never ever baked a damn thing in his life. So for him to sashay in here and just have the nerve to pretend that these are just brownies and not evidence of the fact that he has moved in with this girl, child, woman, whatever she is, and broken his promise to me is such bullshit. And it makes me want to grab the brownies from him and shove them down his throat one by fucking one. Every Sunday, my kids come back from home from his house, and every Sunday, he drops another Tupperware container of brownies on my kitchen counter. Side note, it must be nice to have enough Tupperware to give one away every week, right? And every Sunday, while the kids are in bed, after loading the dishwasher, I lean against the counter staring at those brownies, hating those brownies, until finally I throw those brownies away, stepping on them once they're in the trash so my kids don't see them in the morning. It's actually scary how much pleasure I get from crushing the plastic container until I hear the hard plastic crack underneath my foot. What are you feeling? I'm feeling like I know it can't be the brownies, right? I mean, that would be stupid. "No," she says, "it's not the brownies. But what do these brownies represent to you?" "I don't know. Someone else is baking for my kids, but that's so silly. Like, why do I care who bakes for them? I don't bake for them with any regularity, or ever." "I think the key is there is someone else. What does this mean to you if there is someone else?" I stare at my feet for a minute before I answer her. "It means that I feel like I'm being replaced." "Aha," she says. "But no one can ever replace you. You are their mother. Maybe you could thank this woman for baking the brownies for your children. After all, she is helping making them feel at home. This could be part of the healing." Say what? "This woman, she's making an effort to make your kids happy. No? Probably not an easy situation to be in. She is the other woman in their lives. You and your kids are so close. This makes her the outsider. A gesture from you could mean a great deal. I feel the sharp edge of anger piercing into my throat. Oh, hell to the no. I am not thanking this basic teenager for trying to replace me as their mother. Margarita leans forward and she cups my face with her hands. You will feel differently in time, love. Just don't do or say anything you regret in the meantime. Remember, this is a transition for all of you. You are grieving the loss of an old idea. This is the thing you must do, grieve. But after the grief comes the healing, and the healing must begin with you. A little kindness towards Alicia and her brownies can go a long way to helping your children feel safe. This is the most important thing, that the children feel safe. And there it was. What is more important to me? Holding on to my right to hate her and her frickin' brownies? Or the fact that my kids are okay? More than okay. They're actually annoyingly good. For the next few days, I find myself staring at those brownies with a mixture of anger and sorrow. I'm not angry with the brownies, I chant. I am grieving the loss of an old idea. And each time I dump those brownies in the trash can, I remember her words. The most important thing is that the children feel safe. And slowly the edge of anger in my throat becomes a little less sharp. But then one day, as the container arrives home with my kids, I am surprised to find that I don't feel that familiar roil of hatred. Instead, I just feel tired and surprisingly hungry. Placing the brownies on the counter like usual, I find myself sucking my teeth because, wow, like my whole mouth is just filled up with saliva. I tear my eyes away from the brownie and I look around the kitchen for something else to eat, anything else, something sugary, maybe something chocolatey. I find an unopened box of Fig Newtons in the pantry, and there's a cold slice of week-old white cake in the refrigerator. But I'm looking at those brownies again. Maybe this could be a good thing. I'm not ready to be kind to Alicia yet, but what about those brownies? Maybe I could get down with that. Maybe that would be good to do for my kids, you know? I lift up the Tupperware container and hold it at eye level. There are about 4 in there. I mean, it's not the brownies' fault that they're baked by some random, right? The brownies are innocent. I pop the stiff red top and take one of them out. Holding it close enough to smell, I stare at the velvety moist cake in my hand for a minute before taking a tentative nibble. Immediately, the sweet, full flavor of chocolate envelops my senses, and I breathe a sigh of relief as I swallow that first bite. Oh my God, these brownies are freaking fantastic. I'm being kind to the brownies, I think, swallowing the second bite almost without chewing. As I'm stuffing the next bite in my mouth, I try to summon the brownie anger that has hijacked my soul for the past year or so. I can still access it, but it feels much further away. As my blood sugar spikes and warms my whole body like a blanket. Oh my God, they're so good. I'm doing this for my children. I am forgiving the brownies for my kids. The most important thing is that they feel safe. Baby steps.